What is up, guys? Welcome to Quiet Artist Gaming, and today we're going to be talking about my main Warframe, Gauss. So this Warframe is definitely my favorite in the game because of just how flashy he is, the amount of things you can do with him, and the synergies with his abilities. And I just wanted to address the build I have with him, how you should be using him, and each one of his abilities and how they work, just for players who don't really know how these things work. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so for his first ability, it's named Mach Rush, and it'll allow you to sprint very fast in a forward direction, whichever way your cursor is actually looking towards. The turning speed is pretty slow, but it will allow you to knock over all immediate enemies and also build up a charge for your fourth ability. So you're just going to hold the button, you can run straight through a bunch of enemies. As you can see, it knocks them all over. It doesn't deal much damage, but this will be how you move the most, really. You should definitely be abusing this ability because it will also be charging your fourth. Okay, now for his second ability, it's called Kinetic Plating, and this will also grant you immunity to knock over. So if I get close to this corrupted heavy gunner, he'll slam on the ground and I'll get knocked right over. But let's respawn him in, and I'll show you guys with the ability active how you actually do have an immunity to being knocked over. So I'll simulate another character in. Get some energy here, turn on the ability. It is a duration-based ability. I'll slam on the ground, and as you can see, I did not knock over that time. This ability will also be giving you your main way of damage reduction. It's very useful for staying alive, and you should always have it active. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at Thermal Sunder, his third ability. I'm going to make this short and quick because this is the least useful ability you're going to use in your entire kit of Gauss. I mean, all of his abilities are cool and flashy, but this one you're definitely going to be using the least. If you tap it once, you'll do cold damage in an AoE ranged duration attack. And if you hold it, you'll do fire. These open up for many combinations. You can hold it and then create like a blast radius around you. You can double tap it and freeze everybody around you. It's pretty useful, and if you can hold it again and then shoot everybody away, and then tap it, pull everybody closer, hold it. It's just like all different combinations, definitely pretty useful to play around with, but for the most part, you won't be getting that much damage from this, unless you have like a range and strength build around this, but we'll definitely get into more uses for this ability soon enough. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at Redline, his fourth ability, and Gauss's passive. So, as you can see here, his passive, while moving, you generate an electrical current that fills Gauss's battery. Shields recharge up to 120% faster, while recharge delay is 80% shorter based on the battery level. Okay, so that's kind of a lot to take in, but basically, you're going to want to be moving all the time as much as you can with this duration-based ability that will increase your fire rate, attack speed, reload speed, holster speed, and an AoE of damage. So you're going to want this ability active at all times. It's taken me a few takes because there's actually a lot to cover on this ability. So when you have it active, you'll see a percentage that pops up. That will be your damage reduction with your second ability, Kinetic Plating. And once they're both active, you're going to want to be tapping the Mach Rush ability to maximize the most out of it. Holding it will not charge it as fast as just tapping it. I don't know why, but I think it's because it actually costs more energy to restart up the ability and use it again and use it again than just hold it and allow a drain from it. So tapping it will actually recharge your battery as fast as you possibly can, really. And as you can see, that percentage is going up. That is going to be your damage reduction. So while this is active, you're pretty much invincible for the most part. Surviving is just perfect. And I'll summon in a corrupted heavy gunner, and I'll show you some of the synergies you can have with his ability. It'll be dealing a bunch of like blast damage around you. As you can see, like with the kinetic armor, there are these like, I don't even know, like sparks that are flying off the character. It's pretty useful and it looks very flashy. But if you tap Thermal Sunder while this is active, you'll instantly freeze an enemy. And if you hold it, you'll instantly start burning them. And as you can see, you got incinerated there. I'll show you again here. If I tap it, he'll instantly freeze. And if I hold it, he'll start burning pretty much immediately. Oh, and wow, it took off his armor. Wow, I didn't know that. That's how it worked with, yeah, I learned something new right now. That's crazy. So yeah, definitely be using this ability with this. Can you believe that? I'm making a video on this character and I learned something while making the video. So definitely useful to do. So this ability is a duration-based ability. You're going to want it on at all times. and you're going to want it in synergy with his kinetic plating. This will keep you alive the entire time. Just remember that the red line is as fast as you can push your abilities, but once your fourth is active, you can go past that red line and just push everything to the max, kind of like a Super Saiyan mode. It's very useful. I love it a lot. Very flashy character. Definitely my main Warframe here. And you're just going to want to keep all of his abilities active, including that damage reduction. You're going to need it. Trust me, especially when it gets to high level enemies, you're just going to want that on at all times. So right now I'm going to spawn in a bunch of corrupted heavy gunners, and I'm going to show you guys how I play my Gauss, just firsthand so you guys can see this. I'm going to unpause the AI here. So as you can see, Gauss has already started to be charging up. I would normally kind of like avoid the enemy. I don't have to at all, but I really like going in like at 100%. Just feel like my max. As you can see, Gauss is a dominating monster in the field of battle. It is so fun playing this character. He's so useful. When you put a heavy weapon on him, like a dual wield heavy weapon, the attack speed increases so much that you can just build all around damage and just watch Gauss have a beautiful synergy with the weapon. As you can see, I could just speed around. The enemies don't even know what to shoot at. And with your first ability active, you also get an evasion, which is like when Titania goes really small, when Grendel turns into a ball, or even when Gauss is running, you get an evasion of bullets. So when enemies are shooting at you, you're kind of like weep, 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 weep. You're dodging back and forth on them. This is why he's one of my favorite Warframes, because I can keep this active, I can keep this active, and I can just keep running the entire time. And a lot of times you'll fight bosses that'll keep knocking you over, and especially in Cetus and like other places like that. And you'll find yourself immune to blast damage, heat, and cold with kinetic plating on, so that helps a lot. And physical damage. So we're talking puncture, we're talking slash, and we're talking impact. It is so useful to have on. You guys are going to need these abilities working in synergy with each other at all times. So now I'm going to show you guys the build I have on the Warframe. So this is the build I have going on for my Gauss right now. I have Arcane Energize and Arcane Barrier to maximize the amount of energy you can have and restore, and to maximize the amount of shield I have and restore. So that's with Prime Vigor and Redirection. I have 1,350 shield, and if my shield takes damage, there's a percentage of a chance that it'll instantly restore itself. So that's just kind of a failsafe to keep Gauss a little bulkier and alive throughout heavy missions. And I have Adaption on to build a resistance to that same damage type that's dealing so much damage in the first place. I have Rush on to increase the sprint speed of the character, and Corrosive Projection to get that armor reduction. Very useful. So to maximize the duration, the 268%, I have Prime Continuity, Augur Message, Constitution, and Narrow-Minded. These are 4 duration-based mods that you're going to need to get the maximum amount of duration you can for this frame. This is the build I have, and there's a reason why I have it, because all of his abilities are duration-based, and you're going to want them on as long as you can, considering that his battery, you have to spend so much time charging it up in the first place. It's pretty annoying that the timer is dying when you just work so hard to get it up to the 100%. You'll see what I mean. So right now it's at 76 seconds, 72 seconds, very low percentage on the battery, and I'll charge it up right now to show you guys exactly what I mean by this. So watch how long it takes me to get this all the way to 100% damage reduction. The battery's already full right now, but when you're fighting these heavy level guys, you know, you're going to want as much damage reduction as you can get. So you're going to want to keep abusing this first ability. It's the fastest way you can charge it up. But as you can see, it's costing me a lot of energy. So this is why you're going to need Arcane Energize and Prime Flow. So now I have 100% damage reduction. Watch these guys shoot at me. They're doing nothing. With the Adaption on and Arcane Barrier and this damage reduction, I'm not even seeing my shield or overshields taking any damage right now. I can just stand here and dance in place. I'll let these guys shoot at me the whole time. I'll sit on the ground even. They can't do anything. So this is just why I love Gauss so much. He's such a flashy frame. My main Warframe, I take him every time. I have nobody else to pick because just why not, you know? It helps me get to extraction first, and it helps me get in and out as fast as you can. I don't recommend him for like spy missions, but really much anything else, he's very useful. You know, sometimes I take him on spy missions, but then I go operator so I can get through those lasers and everything. But pretty much every other mission he will be perfect for. I use him for mobile defenses, survival, everything else. You know, I just have a little bit of trouble myself on spy missions taking Gauss because I love to sprint all around the map, and I always forget to look around and pay attention for lasers because I just set them off, and then boom, I'm the reason everybody failed, so I gotta leave really quickly. Nobody saw that, you know. But this is why I love Gauss the most. He's just my favorite frame right now. So now, before I end the video, I wanted to show you guys another little trick you could do with Gauss. Every single time you guys run into any solid objects that aren't going to be moving, you should not be afraid of that, because Gauss will create a blast that pushes and ragdolls all the enemies near you away from you. And as you can see, I'm at 100%, so I'm going to spawn in some enemies and show you that your Thermal Sunder ability also gets a buff from being at 100%. If you tap it, the frost will actually instantly freeze anybody. It doesn't have to be tapped twice, just once will instantly freeze everybody. And the heat will give enemies a bit of a armor reduction. I don't have that much of a strength build around it, but when they're at low health, you will actually be seeing their yellow bars turn red. As you can see over here, these guys had their yellow bars turn red. So those are just some other tips and tricks that you guys can use for your Gauss build to get the most you can from him. I honestly love this frame. He's just so flashy. It's so easy to stay alive with that high shield capacity, those over shields, the damage reduction, arcane barrier, and that adaptation. It's just so easy to stay alive. And then with your duration build, you'll keep all your abilities active. Just surviving is the easiest part with this Warframe. And moving around and staying alive is just so fun. I highly recommend you guys try this Warframe, even if it's just not to get a crazy build out of, but just for funsies, honestly. Just do it for the lols, do it for the laughs. It's pretty fun, and you'll always beat everybody to extraction. I hope you guys like this video, and peace out, Tenno.